Welcome back. We finished the unpacking in the previous video, so now we're going to start the assembly. The tools that we're going to be using are metric tools. This bike was built in China but shipped from California, or designed in California, built in China. So we're going to be using some Allen keys. Right, these are what Allen keys are. Typically we're going to have 4mm, 5mm. We'll need a hex socket of 10mm. And what I have here also is I just bought this Craftsman tool, and I like to have the tools where I have a little bit of leverage. So in this Craftsman tool, you put your Allen key inside here, and all of a sudden you have a little bit of flex that you can do it. So we're going to be using this for the first time. I just got this, so try it out. So in my first assembly we're going to be doing is installing the front fender. Right, simple to do, 3 different connections. So we had it over here and we need it a little bit higher up. Right, so we're going to take out this over here, and we're going to be using this support. I think this works. There you go. Right, we need to put this out of the way for now, so we'll just let it hang from on top over here. Right, so you got a screw and nut up here, and then it gets connected to these 2 in the front over here. So let's remove these screws so that we're ready. So these ones here are 4mm. So just take them out for now. Right, make sure you don't lose the washer. And we'll just leave it on top over here so we see where it is. Kind of loosen it with the short end and have a good lever arm with the big one. And start loosening them all up and removing it. This one seems to be a little bit more tighter. Might have had some paint on the inside, so let's try with our new little arm over here. And I do like these tools also because they have a rounded end at the end of the Allen key, and that kind of helps a little bit on the flexibility on where you have, how you can turn this. So I really do like that little rounded end. Alright, so here we have the 2 of them out at the bottom. We just need to get the top one off. Now we need a 10mm hex socket on one end and a 5mm Allen on the other. Right. So this one's already loose. There you go. Like I said, don't lose that washer. Alright, so here we are. Let's install this first. This comes on top. Right. Put the washer, and then we hand tighten the nut. Now there's a special direction on the nut. There's a tapered on one end that goes on the outside, and then there's a flat end that goes on the inside. So, and we're not going to tighten stuff all too much, just kind of hand tighten it for now. Then we put the other fender over here, the first one. Helps if you have it in the hole. There you go. Now the other one. Right now, As you can see, these are a little bit spring loaded over here, so you have to use a little bit of force, not too much, nothing excessive, but make sure it doesn't spring out. So this is tricky because you're kind of fighting with the and also it helps if you have some glasses on. Alright, let's try this one more time. Maybe I should have done this one first, so I'm not in the way of the cable. Alright, let's try and tighten it. This one's a little bit harder. So this one here, now the handle comes in the way, so it's nice to have that flexibility. And having that rounded end kind of allows me to get away from this rod over here. Alright, just a little tight. We might have to make some adjustments later, so we don't want it to tighten right away. There you go. Just enough that we feel secure. Okay. So now we have the Fender on. Looks pretty good. Now here we have, for the Aventon, a through axle, right? So it's all covered at the bottom. You don't slide the tire in. You have to put the tire in and then the bolt across. And that will help with the alignment of the disc brake, right? So we need to take this off first, right here. That's not too hard. Alright, two big pieces, so I'm pretty sure they're not going to lose it. Now one thing we have to be careful on is there's a little plastic clip over here. And this keeps the calipers from falling out during transportation. But do not lose this in case you have to remove your tire. You can put it back in, so have it somewhere safe. Alright, so now it's time for the tire. So we have here a protective device. I guess you just pop it off, right? And here's your disc brake, right? Seems firmly attached. I give it a quick look to make sure that it's not bent, and that looks pretty straight to me. That's good. So now we'll put on the tire, and we can get rid of this one over here and slide the tire in. Now be careful with the axle. Oh, helps if we remove the other cover. There you go. I think it could just almost rest by itself here. So now you put the through axle, you kind of shimmy it through, and there you go. It's done. Now we tighten it. On the other side here. Alright. So tighten a little bit. Just see, So now, theoretically, everything should be aligned, and our disc brake and our caliper are perfectly aligned. There is no noise. I hear no noise. So there's no rubbing between the disc brake, the disc, and the calipers over here. So let's do that one more time. Quiet as can be. Super. So we just tighten this down here. And that's it. This is the front tire. Right. Now, let's start and install the handle. Right. The handle requires a 5mm Allen key. All right. So here, this white part is a protective device, and now we have to somehow, here you go, very simple with your fingernails, just take out the little cap here, and you have your 5mm on top. Simple as can be. Take it off. Now if you had this suspended on a park tool, I wonder if this needs needed. Oh, you got different heights. Oh, I didn't know this. Look at that. So let me put this down here. So you got 3 rings. 1, 2, 3. Right. So let's put, if you had this on a park tool stand, this would be falling off and you'd have to support it. But since we put on the wheel first, then it's pretty well set over here. Right. So now we put the handlebar on. There you go. I guess you can either do one or get it off over here like this. Let's try with all 3 first. Let's put the cap back on with our 5mm screw. There you go. Once again, we're not going to do it super tight. Over here. Now we got these 2 Allen keys over here to tighten it. All right. And here's our 4mm. I'll leave these on the side over here. Our 4mm. Yep. So we can give it just a nice little tight squeeze. Alrighty. Now these handlebars rotate to your pleasure, right? And then there's the Aventon mirror here that will oh, guess what? I installed it backwards. Haha, because I know this needs to be on the other side. Well, I never said I was perfect, and that's why we don't tighten everything right away. So it is possible to install the handlebars backwards, right? And as we would say in the lean environment, this is not poka-yoke, a Japanese word for mistake proofing. Right. So this one here is supposed to be like this. Yes, there you go. This seems a little better. And this one will go up this way. That makes a little bit more sense. Again. Tighten it down. Tighten those screws a little bit later for the handlebar. And one thing I noticed, these are Bengal disc brakes. So the brakes are from the company called Bengal. Now I have heard that Aventon Level does ship with also Zoom disc brakes. And the Zoom disc brakes seem to have gotten also some good reviews there. So I was kind of like wondering which ones we would be getting. Right, but we'll make some adjustments later. So one thing also you want to make sure over here is that these Allen keys or screws over here, top and bottom, are about the same distance. So they got some Loctite on it. You can see some blue Loctite. And these are 4 millimeters also. So let me just switch this over to the 4 millimeter. Wrong slot. There you go. So these are pretty loose, so you want to tighten evenly in all directions. I mean all 4 of them, so the gap between the top and the bottom is the same, more or less, más o menos in Spanish. All right. Just a little tight, not too tight. We'll do some fine adjustments later. Okay, we'll leave this loose for now. Right. Okay, kind of looks a little straight. We have there. Alrighty. And so now, Nathan, come over here. We're going to connect a display over here, and these are the only 2 cables that are not connected. And there's green and green, right? So we can see here, and here you can see that there's a little slot on the top of it. And here on the other one you have a little key. Right. Let me just drop these over here. Right. So you just have to align them. Easier said than done. There you go. And there, Bob's your uncle. There, you're done. Now you have some other ones here with the handbrakes, or actually this is the controller. This one's already connected, but I like the fact that you have a lot of self connections over here, so when you want to remove things, it's easy. And you have to replace parts, it's easy to replace them. So that is good. And that's it for the handlebar. Right? You just have to tighten this, but we'll do that later. Alrighty. Okay. Let's put this back in here. There you go. So the only thing, let's do the seat now. So this is relatively easy. This is a Aventon seat, but it's actually made by Velo. Nice cushioning, nice and wide, but not too wide. There's a little bit of nice cushioning to it, so I kind of like that. And you can make some adjustments back and forth over here to your liking. So if you're a shorter person, you might have it forward. If you're a taller person, you might have it a bit more back. But we can make those adjustments a bit later on. Right? So the seat kind of goes in here, and it's not going to be this high. But I did see in the video that we need to put some grease on it. So let's smear some grease. And in the pack it did come with some grease. So here you have the little grease, right? So let's put some gloves on here just to not get it too dirty. Gloves can be thrown away easily without dirtying other stuff. Right. Here you go. Just have a little bit of an opening. Right. So, which I like over here is you got some measurements. I kind of like that. Because me and the wife are going to be using this bike, so she likes it a little shorter, right? So she'll put it at a higher number, and when I ride it, I'll probably put it a little more higher. But at least I'll know, I have a good setting to know once we have our set to our taste, to our liking, the numbers will be there, and we can easily convert from one to the other. So not too much grease, but you don't need a whole lot in here, so just a little bit. Right, a little bit goes a long way. And you can put it at the bottom. So we need the grease for this pole over here, and then we'll need also some for the threads on the pedals. So we need a little bit more here, and that should be enough. Right. So it's a clear grease, so you can put it over the numbers also. Don't put it too high. Just make sure you got it all nice and smudged there, so as you're changing it from one setting to the next, it's easily done. Right? And the reason you kind of wear these gloves is that you can simply take them out, the grease stays inside, and even if you throw them on the floor, it doesn't matter because the grease is on the inside of the pedal. Here you go. Alright, so we got our seat. And so that's easily done. Alright, so that's the other thing. So the only thing that's remaining to do is installing the pedals. So here are the pedals. And as I mentioned in the unpacking, Aventon did not give us a spanner wrench or a wrench to tighten these, but I do know that we will need a 15mm 1.5. So if you have an open wrench over here, a 15 millimeter is what you would need, and you can use that to tighten your pedals. All right. Okay. And what I'll do at the end of the video is I'll indicate the tools that I used to install these. So you'll have a reference at the end for what tools you require. If you don't have them, you can buy them beforehand and install them. So I threw away my nitro glove. Let me get me another one. All right. Okay. So let's do the left side first. Okay. So the left side over here. So you can see here, actually sorry, the right side, right? So let's match the right pedal to the right of the bike, and right or left depends on how, you know, when you're sitting on the bike. So as you're sitting on the bike, the right side is the right side over here, and then you use the right one over here. Okay, and you can see that this is clockwise. So actually we don't need these stickers anymore, so you can actually remove them. Right. And now we're going to be putting a little bit of grease. Not too much, just a little bit. Right. There you go. And you just put them over on the threads, and you're good to go. Okay. So here's the trick on the threads. Pretend you're pedaling backwards, right? And you have to be careful because you don't want to cross thread over here, right? So you want to be nice and gentle. Don't start off using a tool, right? And I'm going the other direction because I want to hear that little click. Or actually I can just do it this way. There you go. Oh, I think I got it. There. No, I did not. Huh. So it's clockwise. And I am using the right. And I got the grease here, so it's slippery. So let me see if I can. Although I said not to use the tool, I'm just being very gentle, just to kind of get it started, and it did get started. There. So I'm pretty sure I'm not going to cross thread it, and I'm just going to, here you go. Let's do it this way. And it's slowly going inside, not forcing it. It's nice and smooth. If you do feel that you're forcing, stop. Right? So now that it's here, it's done. Right? I give it a nice tug. Remember, clockwise. So I'm going to tighten it clockwise. Just enough, not too much, just enough there to give it a nice tight. And we're good. Now we're going to do the other side. So the left side, we're going to put some grease again on the threads. Just a little bit. All right. And actually, something I kind of learned, let's see here, is it this one? Yeah. This is a number 6, right? You have a number 6 here that you can use to tighten or untighten the pedals. Right now I didn't need them, but just in case, if you don't have a 15 millimeter open wrench, you can use a number 6 Allen key. So let's go over to the other side. Okay, so now we're on the left side. There's the sticker here, and it says to screw it in counterclockwise, so it's different than the other one, right? This is unnormal. So if you remember the righty-tighty, lefty-loosey, right? So it doesn't make sense. You're going lefty, but you're actually tightening it. Right? So you can take out the sticker, but we use the same principle over here. right? So we want to make sure we don't cross thread our bolts, or I mean our threads. So we go backwards, slowly, hand tightening it. It's good. Everything feels smooth. And here you go. So on this side, actually, let me see if I can use my 6mm Allen key to tighten it. Here you go. Oh, it's pins. Let's see here. It's getting tightened. There you go. And I give a nice good tight, and I'm done. So that was using a 6mm Allen. Right. And you can also remove the little stickers over here. And we're good. So now we install the pedals. It was as easy as that. Right? So we haven't checked the rear tire yet. I do see here we do have a nice little kickstand, and it's adjustable using what? I would guess that's a 5mm. If I can find where I put my 5mm. I put them over there. So let me go get those. So it is, nope, it's not 5mm. It is 4mm. All right. So one thing also you should do, right, when you get any equipment, any bike, is make sure that all your bolts are nice and tight. Right, so if you have some of these bolts over here, right, just make sure, give it a nice little tight, not too much. And I sure would have appreciated if Aventon kind of used the same Allen key for all its connections. So 5mm, see this one was a little bit loose, so give it a nice little tight over here. Right, that one's tight, good. So just kind of, that's good. That's good. I think I tightened these ones up here. Right. Go back to 4mm. That's why it would have been great if everything was 5mm. Right, let's try this rack over here. So this rack says a maximum of 25 kilograms or 55 pounds. Right. That one was a little bit loose. Right, that in there. So let me try the other side. That one was a little loose. Not too bad. Okay. These are Phillips. Right. This is probably 5mm. And there's one inside over here. I can't reach with my handle, so I kind of like this tool. It gives you the flexibility of taking it out or not if the handle gets in the way. So, oh, this one was a little loose. That's why you check your bolts. Alrighty. So we're almost ready to go. But I did notice that the seat was a little loose over here. Right? So even though it's clamped down, it can still move up and down. So what you do is you kind of tighten it. You can rotate this, loosen it first, give it a rotation, and tighten it. Now it's nice and tight. You can also do it actually from the Allen key in the back here, so let me show you. If this is a 5 millimeter, yeah. Seat post is a 5 millimeter. Right, so you loosen it up, come over here, and give it a nice little tight, and then you make sure. If you're able to close it easily, then it's not tight enough. Give it a quarter turn, and now it's just hard enough, but I'm able to close it. That way your seat is nice and firmly in position, and it won't fall off or move as you're riding the bike. All right, so we're almost good here. Let's see here. We're good. Actually, I probably need to check one more thing before I check if the motor is working, and that's the dérailleur, the gears in the back. So the Aventon comes with an 8-speed gear. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Right, and you got a quick change over here, and it's a Shimano. Oh, it's an Aventon. Oh, they changed it. Before it was a Shimano, but now it looks like it's a self-branded Aventon A3. So that is relatively new. If you can see it here. Right. So right over here, Aventon A3. Don't know what it is, but the cassette is a Shimano. Cassette is a Shimano Hyperglide. Let's see here if we can get it nice. There you go. Right, it's a Shimano. Here you go. All right, and yeah, let's see here. It is an A3 Aventon. Well, as I was sitting on here, I kind of felt that there was something wrong with this over here. And I noticed that I installed it wrong again. So, and it kind of looks over here, and it's, when you have the lettering that's upside down, definitely tells you, it's a good indication that you've installed it wrong. So once again, we need to uninstall it. And it's great because it has all the flexibility, right, of putting it or adjusting it, but on the other hand, you have many ways of installing it wrong, apparently. And even though you know how to read, sometimes you can still make mistakes. Right? So we're gonna take this out. Right? So there's lettering over here. This should be at the bottom. This should be installed this way. There you go. Right. And what kind of confused me is the orientation of the handlebar, but that is supposed to be adjustable. So I guess either they moved it a certain way for shipping, or I'm not sure what. Right, so, all right. So here, the handlebars here, this is 4 millimeters. Loosen it up again. Loosen it up a little bit. There's 4 of them, 4mm. Get the display out of the way. Here you go. There. Now that looks about right. Excellent. Okay. And actually, you can see some degrees over here, right, that you can set to your liking. So that should be centered. Right, and I'm going to move the tire a little bit here. All right. So I don't know what the setting is because I haven't sat on it and I haven't ridden it, but I'm just going to leave it like this for now and do some fine tuning afterwards as long as I get this right. So Murphy's Law, right? When something can go wrong, it will go wrong. Right. Kind of would have liked this wire over here to be in the back though, but I guess when they installed it, they had it here. Alright, let's see here. This is fitting. Yes, at the bottom. It's a little tighter at the bottom than on top, so I need to loosen this up here at the bottom, loosen at the bottom and tighten it more on the top. Remember, we want the gap over here to be as close as possible to the bottom. Right, loosen a few more turns. One turn here. Loosen one turn over here. And tighten up here. There you go. There we go. We should be good. Let me just change the 5 to my 4. So here you can change the angle of your display. I'm a tall person, so I'll have it at a slightly different angle over here, or shallower angle. Oh, guess what? This is not a 4. It's probably a 3. Let's check it out. Once again, Aventon, try and standardize. Yeah. All right. These are pretty loose. Once again, the rounded ends of the Allen key kind of helped me get out of the way of this over here. And of course, I could have done it without the handle, much easier, but all right. Don't have to tighten it too hard. This one's not moving anywhere, so it's good over here. So let's give it a little check. So I like the pass-through, right? Although my instinct is still to go with the back over here, but the pass-through does make it a little easier, right? And so that kind of feels right. Display is pretty much good. I can read it. Handle's good, kind of good here. Right? I can always change it a little bit back or forward, but I'm more of an upright biker. So everything is here. give a few pumps of the brakes. Another thing you should check is over here if there's any jiggling, what have you. So if you break the front part and you push it forward, if you see anything going wrong or squeezes, then you need to make some adjustments here. And here you got some shocks, and this is your lockout. Right, so pointing in the back, you got no more shocks. It doesn't go down. So if you'd like to have nice rough rides, you put this little bar in the back. If you like to have super smooth rides with little bumps, you put it in the front. And I think you can adjust it here to give you some different in between. Right? All right. So now we'll have to check the rear tires to make sure everything is good. All right. Well, one final test to do is see if the chain goes on all 8 gears. Make sure it's working correctly. And then after that, we're going to install the battery and test out the motor. So Nathan, can you lift it? All right, just make sure. So that's the easiest gear. Then release. I do hear some sound grinding on the lower gears, and it's kind of harder to turn, but the sound goes away when we go into higher gears. It might be just wearing. It needs to wear in a little bit. Oh, can you lift it, please? The derailleur works good, but in the lowest gear here, you do hear a little bit of grinding and a little bit of noise. So we'll have to check that out as we progress, but I can see here the chain has no oil in it, or very little actually. It does have something. Maybe I need to give it a little bit of oil and work it in. But some things I wanted to kind of highlight a little bit. You got a connector over here, so if you have to remove the tire, it's easy to do it. And what I like also with Aventon in their design, they put little hooks inside here so you can do the tie wrap. So good tie wrap management and cable management, I think. And of course on the inside of the bike, inside the wiring, you don't see it. So the only thing now that remains to be done is the checking out the motor, see if it's working and responding in the throttle. So, all right, let's install the battery. All right, so we have the battery, and removing it was easy. So once you've charged it, installation, it's a little heavy, so be careful. And you got the wheel interfering a little bit, so like lift it up here, go inside, and then just snap it into place, and you lock it with the key. Right. And now it's secure. When you want to remove it, unlock it with the key. It's not going to fall out. There's a little lever here. Press it to the right and the battery comes out. Right, so it's very simple. Put it in, snaps in place, lock it with the key, and you're good to go. Now let's turn it on. Alright, now that we installed the battery, let's see if it works. Make sure all the connections are working and even our hub motor is working. So let's take out this protective wrap. And to turn on the display and to turn on the bike, there's a little button over here on the side. Just keep it pressed a couple of seconds. And now you see the display is over here. You got the energy bar. It's about at 60%, 55%. You got your speed indicator in miles per hour. And here, this is your pedal assist. It's at 0, so basically you're pedaling as a normal bike, and then your odometer at the bottom, see how many miles you've done. Hopefully you've done more than you've done in the past, right? So here you can change your pedal assist by pressing these buttons up or down. So up, we can go to pedal assist 1, 2, 3, 4, and all the way up to 5, and then we can go all the way down to 1 and 0, right? So 0 consumes no battery other than what's on the display. And here, this is your throttle. So at pedal assist 0, your throttle does not work. But if I move it up to 1, let's see what happens. Oh, the bike goes. Ooh, yeah, it has a nice little kick to it, right? So I guess the hub motor works. So Nathan, focus on the wheel here, and we'll see. We'll lift it up and go pedal assist. There you go. Brake. So no throttle, and now I'm going to give it a little bit of throttle. Put it all the way down. I'm going to let go of the throttle and press on the brake. So it seems the motor is working, and we would be ready to go. Alright, so we kind of completed the assembly of the bike. Impressions. Wasn't that difficult to do. Kind of takes you a couple of hours, like the whole morning, to assemble it. Definitely helps if you have an assistant that is able to kind of hold the bike for you and lift it and give you some of the tools. First impressions, I'm liking what I'm seeing. I think the construction is great. I like the cable management. I like the display. I like the seat. The only concern I have right now is the resistance I'm feeling and a little bit of the noise in the gears and the smaller gears. So I'll have to check that out and see what's happening there. I'll give it a good oil on the chain and see if it happens. So you might be also wondering why I did the assembly here in my basement, because we're in Minnesota and outside right now it's 0 degrees Celsius or 32 Fahrenheit. And doing it outside or in the garage was a little too cold, so decided to assemble it here. Next weekend it's going to go up into the 50s, and so I'm going to take it for a bike ride, and I'll do a video on the test run going up hills and down hills and around the bike paths in my neighborhood, and I'll give you the impression, right? So right now it's seems like a good sturdy bike to have. I sat on it a bit. I kind of like it. It is heavy, right? I'm kind of not a tiny person, and I do definitely have to use a little bit of force. I can lift it. If I had to go up 1 or 2 flights of stairs, that would be definitely an issue. But since I just go in and out of my garage, it shouldn't be too much of a problem. The other issue I do think I see here, the step through does give you the convenience of going in and out very good. But if you have a bike rack in the back of the car where you hang it instead of where the wheels lay onto a surface, right now you have nothing here to hang it. But I did buy a bar that I can connect over here, and so that will be able to put it on the bike rack that I currently have. And I kind of just noticed one thing over here which I'm a little disappointed with, actually, is that there is no water bottle holder. I did see one on the Aventon Adventure. We had 2 screws over here, but there is no screws right now for on the level. There are, I'm sure, things you can attach to the handlebar You can put probably a panier in the back here where that can hold the water. So there's workarounds, but a little disappointed that there's no water bottle holder in front over here where typically you would see it on a bike, right? But it's an electric bike also. You shouldn't be putting too much effort into riding it. Right? So that's it for now. Thanks for being with me and being by my side as I assembled the bike. It was great. Not too difficult, simple house tools that you have around. Some of the tools Aventon gives you. Would like to have for them to give us a wrench for the pedal or a number 6 for the pedal. Actually, you can use that there. So I think they do give you maybe a number 6 Aventon. Let's see here. Yeah, they do. Right over here. So you can tighten your pedals using the Aventon tool that they do provide you. So you don't need that open-end wrench, pedal wrench, to tighten it. You can use this over here to tighten your tool. So that's good to know, right? And also this is really handy. You can put it in it wraps up very well. You can put it in the pouch in the back over here or inside your panier in the back, in the bag. And carry it along with you, so if you have to do any fine tuning on the road, you have the tools right here to do that. Right. So thank you once again, and I'll see you on the next video where I tour around my neighborhood with the new Aventon Level bike. See you soon. Bye.